This new campaign is very exciting because the first campaign really represented a night out. You get to see this glamorous version of a woman really feeling her most confident and her most elegant, and she's the world at her fingertips. But what we wanted to represent in this one is this is the day version. So you still have that glamour, you still have that elegance, you still have that timelessness, but it's a little bit a lighter, brighter, airier version. But what's neat about it is that it doesn't mean that you have to be wearing a beaded dress in the middle of your afternoon or in your evening, but it's about finding that thing that makes you feel the most glamorous, the most elegant, and the most confident, whether it be day or night. And this is really showing the daytime version of what you've seen already at night. What I love about the new scent is that there are very powerful notes in the original scent, between the wood and the leather, even the bergamot, even though it's light and citrusy and a little floral. They're still very powerful, commanding scents. So there are different ways that you can put it on. You can apply it directly so that you really feel that full impact and full power. Or you can kind of step into it to get a lighter version. But that's sometimes a little questionable how evenly that goes on. But what's nice about this is this is something that it's a little more elusive. The power is a little more subtle. It's a little more of a discovery in a very nice way. And then when you really want to command that attention, you have the original scent that is much more full-bodied. Glamour, I think, is very much a state of mind, because sometimes I find myself dressed up to the nines and I feel not my most glamorous. If it's something, and I haven't made this mistake, I hope in many years, but there were points early on when I wanted to look like someone else, or I dressed in a way that wasn't necessarily representative of who I was. It was someone that I was inspired by, and I found very quickly that it has to come from within. It's what makes you feel your most graceful and elegant and empowered. And you can have glamour in jeans and a t-shirt, or you can have it, dressed up in your finest. But it's really about finding that woman that you want to be. Well, perfume is very much an identity. It's one of the major senses that we have is smell, and when you smell the scent of someone that you know, someone that you love, even if it's not of someone, if it's a meal that your mom made, or it evokes very, very powerful memories. So that's an incredible thing to have. It's an incredible tool to have, to say, this is my identity, this is who I am now, this is who I want to be, and this is what I want people to remember me by. And it's one of the things that's most impactful, because we have so many visual references of people, but and people don't often have a physical reference of you. You don't remember sometimes with your mom's, even though they're your mom's hands. Sometimes you forget what that touch is, but you never forget that smell. It just grabs you by the gut, and that's really it's a neat part of life. As fragrance, I feel, is very much a big part of one's identity. It's one of the very few things that I do every single day is put on fragrance. If I'm not wearing makeup, if my hair is not done, if I'm walking around in pajamas, I still put my fragrance on, because I brush my teeth and put on my perfume. It's who I am, no matter what version of myself I am. It's the smell that I want to identify with, and so it's directly linked to me in every way. I think that there's no wrong way to do it. I often would switch scents between seasons. Living in California, I didn't, because it's always the same time of year. It always, Christmas, it's 80 degrees. But when I moved to New York, I started switching between different seasons. I would change fragrance, or if I was going out for a big fancy night versus, walking around in the daytime. But what I also found is, I'm changing so much, and I was growing so much, and hopefully I still change every single day, but the leaps are less grand. I'm more the woman that I want to, much closer to the woman I want to be now than I was 5 years ago. And so with that, I found that I have regularity now in my fragrance, in a nice way. It's almost like being more comfortable in your own skin. What I love in a fragrance is I love balancing that masculine and feminine. It's what I love in fashion. It's what I love in beauty. It's what I love in home design even. It's not necessarily, it's not androgynous. It's that it's both male and female. And this fragrance has that, and that's what I love so much about it. Is it has those wood and leather notes, which are very masculine smells, but they're not so far masculine that a woman can't own it as well. And they're also very sexy smells, the smell of wood or leather. And then it has, the more flirty, sassy notes, in the citrus tones. And it has the sensual sort of elegance and lightness and femininity that comes in the more floral notes. And it really has that perfect balance of what I love and the type of woman that I want to be.